All right, so welcome to a new thing that I'm trying here. I'm going to do a director's cut, which is basically uncut, unscripted. So I'm going to turn on an uncut video here and try to ramble at, just ramble on the microphone here for like a solid 10 minutes. But if you've ever seen my live streams, you know that just happens for hours anyway. So the uncut thing is kind of all the rage now. Turning on a camera and just throwing a ball fresh out of the box for 10 to 15 shots and talking about it. I don't really like that so much because it takes several games normally for you to tell what a ball is going to do. So this is on the 2019 USBC Open Championship singles and doubles pattern. You'll see a lot of my shorts and my pale legs, but you'll also see just uncut footage. And so what we've got here is that's rough. That's slightly rough. But this ball has about 4 to 5 games on it so far. This is right after, it might have a little bit more than that, 7 or 8 games. The thing that I don't like about the uncut videos is that they just show a ball for like 10 shots straight out of the box, and that's it. It takes quite a little bit more than that to really figure out or understand what a ball is going to do. If I base my opinion on what I saw for the first game or two at Westridge, I'd have had a totally different opinion than I did after I filmed all of this. I actually ended up getting 60 minutes of footage on camera, which is about 10 to 15 games. Normally I film about, that was a pretty good shot, pretty good ball reaction. But normally I bowl about 10 to 15 games during filming, so I have a really solid idea what the ball is going to do by the time I get around to writing videos. I just don't go out and throw like 2 or 3 games and write a review based on it. The ball has some time to lane shine a little bit. Normally the more aggressive the cover is to start with, the faster that happens anyway. But in this case, I was on the house shot at Westridge, and then I came over here and I bowled on lane 19 first. Both 19 and 20 are the same pattern, so it's still the USBC singles and doubles pattern, and that I just kind of threw out the window. But I'm going to blame it on approach problems there. Probably a piece of tape as well. I think there was some point in here where I added a piece of tape, which is really kind of weird because my thumb actually shrinks as I bowl. So it starts off one size, and then I find myself having to add tape later, and I don't really understand that. Normally it's the opposite of that for everybody else. But this ball has about 7 to 8 games on it, so it's got a little bit of lane shine. This is the same pattern again on 19 and 20. I did film the comparisons on different lanes so that there wasn't any of this. That was a little flat, but oil volume. But I did film on 2 different lanes so that I didn't have the track burn show up, because if I'd have thrown everything just on lane 19, I would have had track burn show up, and that would have altered the ball reaction. So I did have the mechanic over there. So thanks, Mikey McBride, for taking care of me when it comes to this. The owners and mechanics at Westridge and Gage Bowl take a lot of care of me when it comes time to film, so he was able to go on ahead and run the whole pair, and so I did some comparison footage on 19, I did some of it on lane 20, so I had more of a fresh shot throughout the entire thing, and then I did bowl on lane 21 to get the house shot footage for the regular review that you saw. But almost 4 minutes of rambling aside, let's talk some ball reaction here. This is a very high volume pattern. Even though 42 feet isn't that long, it's still a pretty high volume pattern, which also contributes to adding some shape to it. So I think it's 28.3, 28.4 milliliters of oil, which is a lot, and 42 feet long. So when I was at the stadium, or I guess it wasn't the stadium, well, it was wherever we were bowling at in Vegas, South Point. South Point is amazing, by the way, so definitely a whole lot of fun. But this feels like exactly what I was bowling on at Nationals, and usually the singles and doubles pattern is a little bit longer than this, a little bit smoother than this. But if you go back and watch my Nationals videos that I did upload, you can see that even when I was throwing the pro motion, I was throwing the pro motion for the first couple games, and it's not a very sharp or snappy ball. So the back ends were actually quite sharp this year. So even though I'm playing further right, and you're saying, well, there's no way that you get the ball back off of the foreboard like I did right there, I actually did at Nationals. I think that was actually in play. It was actually there. And so the topography here is very, very flat. The lane surface is only 4 or 5 years old, so very similar to what we see when we go to Nationals. And so having the flatter topography and newer surface definitely makes it quite a bit tougher. It makes anything quite a bit tougher than it is at Westridge. So that's why I did this over here and not at Westridge. Everything kind of looks the same. Everything's a whole lot easier than it should be at Westridge because it's got an older lane surface. There's a lot of free friction everywhere. The reaction's smoother, and so over here, this keeps me a whole lot. It keeps me a whole lot more honest with my execution. Now, the other thing that I will mention about the UFO after watching the whole rack just kind of collapse there is that my carry percentage was just off the planet. You might wonder why I didn't show more misses in my videos. Well, I just didn't have them to show because there was quite a few shots that I should have had something left on there, and they just all fell down. So that's why I didn't have more misses in there. That's a pretty good shot. Oh yeah, look at that. And something else that you should notice is that as the ball goes off the deck, watch where it goes off the deck. Because pretty well, no matter where I'm standing at, it always goes off the deck right through the 8-pin position. So it's very continuous. I think you'll notice that when I was comparing it to the Halo, there was a lot of people initially that obviously we haven't seen UFO footage before today, but we did know that the Halo was getting discontinued like weeks ago. So for those of you who found out about the Halo getting discontinued and were concerned about that or wanting to go scoop stuff up, this ball I think is an improvement across the board. And again, that's what I said in several of the videos that I had so far, is that I think it's an improvement across the board. It is a little bit stronger, but I think that once you get a little bit of lane shine on it and once you get some games on it, I think it's settled down to the point where it doesn't feel too much stronger, but it's enough stronger if you need it to be. And the thing for me with the Halo was it's a little too straight off the end of the pattern for how much it hooks. So I think I might be adding tape here. I'm probably adding tape since this is taking a while. This is another thing I don't like about the Uncut videos is I think it's a little bit more interesting when you have somebody throwing a shot and then coming back and talking during the dead space. But I think that you can achieve the same thing without doing the Uncut thing. I know that it's a whole lot more transparent. I know it's a whole lot more like, well, obviously there's no cuts in this video. This is every single shot that I threw. Obviously it makes a kind of difficult pattern look really easy, so I think that that's one of the benefits here, is that I'm striking more often than not. There was a lot of these I shouldn't have struck on, but that's beside the point. These are twister pins, and I thought it was kind of funny that most of the time when I didn't strike, there was a wood pin left on the deck. That's something else I'd like to point out because I am a big fan of twisters, but that's a pretty good shot. And yeah, you'll notice that no matter how deep I get, the ball keeps peeling off of the spot. And the other thing that I did mention in another one of those videos is that I'm not chasing transition deeper, and so this is basically a fresh shot. I think I only I think this is about 9.5 minutes or 10 minutes worth of film here that we're actually getting kind of close to the end of. But there's only so many shots on video here. I think we might have gotten 15, 20, 25 shots, something on here. And so I'm not chasing transition in or the transition isn't forcing me deeper. I'm just moving when I feel like I have enough shots that'll, fill up some video time. So that's the end of it. This was fun. Goodbye.